Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So before we get started, I would just like to say I'm sorry that I've been away for so long. I've had a lot of stuff going on, as I'm sure you guys know if you've seen the video I made. I've had a new job, and plus, yeah, just a lot of stuff going on personally. So just to kind of get it out the way, I am going to be moving house soon. My friend has kindly offered me a room, and it's a big change, you know. It's going to be a completely brand new start, and hopefully when I'm there I'll have much more time to dedicate to YouTube and to things that I actually love doing. But you know, that's all, we're all at the waiting game at the moment. We just have to wait and see how things go. At the moment I'm just working 2 jobs to just try and get all the money saved up in order to move it, so not really having much time to do YouTube. So don't worry guys, I am still around and I will still be uploading content in the near future. And I also just want to take this moment to say a big thank you to those who have jumped on board recently and subscribed, as some of you have been leaving me lovely messages, and it really has just given me the drive and the strength to keep going with this channel. And I just want you guys to know that, you know, you really do make a difference for me. You know, it's not just a case of, oh, it's just a comment, give it a love heart, move on. Every comment that you leave, guys, it really does make such a big difference. You know, there are times when I feel like giving up, and I see comments like that and I just, you know, just gives me the strength to keep going. So I just want to let you guys know how much you matter, and thanks to all of you who have subscribed since I've been off the air. It's really keeping the channel going, and I'm just so honoured and pleased to have you all. So with that aside, we're going to get straight into this. Now, I just want to say that this is going to be a review slash rant. Now, I'm not actually going to be ranting about the figure or the set, because that's not what I have a problem with. What I have a problem with is B&M's distribution. Now, I'm going to save that till the end of the video to get all into that, but to cut a long story short, this is the only set that I've actually been able to find. I have not been able to find the Richard Herndl Doctor and Dalek or the Necros Daleks. In fact, my friend is the one who actually found them, and he didn't find them at any of his local B&Ms. For the first time in history, we've actually had to resort to other means to get them. Now, thankfully, those other means didn't include giving in to scalpers. They were actually fans who were helping other people get hold of the sets by selling them on for reasonable prices. You know, so we pay the price, we just have to pay the postage and maybe a little bit of the petrol costs, which is all well and good. And my friend's been showing me pictures of what they're like. They look absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I won't actually be moving until later on in the year, like probably the start of next year, so I don't think I'll actually bother doing reviews of those sets, because, you know, by the time I actually get round to having an opportunity to, I'll probably be reviewing the second wave, and even then that's going to be a bit late. But what I will just say is the Richard Herndl and Dalek, absolutely fantastic. From what the pictures that my friend has shown me, definitely the best set of this wave. The Necros Daleks, really good, even though the Necros ones are actually my least favourite design in Classic Who. I still think they're fantastic figures, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to bring you reviews for this, guys. But this set I was actually able to find in my local stall. I went into my B&M stall that's nearest to me, and there were 3 on the shelves, and I was overjoyed. So I grabbed one for me, one for my friend. I wish I'd picked up the 3rd one for my uncle now, actually thinking about it, but someone else came in behind me and grabbed it, shook his hand, said, hey, you know, these were the only 3 I could find, couldn't find any of the Dalek sets. And he was a nice guy, you know, we talked to each other, but I'm glad that I got there before he did, because he said he was picking up one for his mate, and he was picking up 2, one to keep in the box. Yeah, a practice I've never really understood and really irritates me, so I'm just glad that I got there before he did. Not to knock him, at the end of the day you can do whatever you like, but there were only 3 on the shelves and the staff were beyond useless. But anyway, enough about that, let's get into the review itself. So starting off, I just want to say that I love this new packaging. I mean, I love the diamond logo. You know, for me, it harkens back to the classic era. Most of you guys, if you follow my channel, will know that I just want nothing to do with New Who anymore. I'm completely done with it, but I will still continue to do Classic Who reviews for you guys, maybe even some Russell T Davies era reviews, Russell T Davies 1 or RTD 1 stuff, but classic stuff for me. And despite this being based more around the 60th, I do still like it because it kind of harkens back to that diamond style packaging that we did see a lot in the Forbidden Planet exclusives, which is really nice. It no longer has that god-awful logo, which I've always hated, or that really bland, boring silver and blue packaging. It's got some nice bright colours, and I've noticed that the colours seem to differ depending on which set you buy. So both of the sets that come from the 6th Doctor era have this yellow kind of effect, whereas the Richard Herndl Dalek has a blue effect. Now, some people have theorised that what character are going to do is, depending on which era the set is based off, you're going to have a different colour sort of star effect. So you're still going to have the white with the diamond logo, but it will be a different colour. So for example, if you got a 3rd Doctor set, it'd be red. If you got I don't know, a 5th Doctor set, it will be blue like the Richard Herndl set, a 4th Doctor green, who knows, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I do quite like that, I just think it adds a little something more. So you've got the limited edition sticker, which you're all used to, 6th Doctor and TARDIS, the 6th Doctor, and the 5.5 inch 14cm collector's range featuring the 6th Doctor and TARDIS. You've got this little bio on the back which you can read up if you want to, but I've never really been interested in it, to be honest. Unfortunately, we are still in the realms of no plastic protection, and I have to emphasize just how much this frustrates me. Someone could literally, with a pair of scissors, cut that, and just yank the figure out. It would be as easy as that. Also to mention, for those of you who are in-box collectors, the longevity of this is going to really be tested, because like I say, there is nothing protecting the figure or the TARDIS from dust or any other things that might pop up, and this isn't really the thickest cardboard, so this area especially could become warped and bent. It's going to cause a lot of problems, so I really wish character would stop virtue signaling and stop pandering to these bloody environmentalist nuts and just put the plastic back in here. If you're so passionate about the plastic, instead of having this bloody thing which the figure's held in, why not just tie the figure to the TARDIS and just have it as one, and just have the plastic windows either side? I'm pretty sure that would be less plastic than what you're doing here. But anyway, enough about that. So the figure looks really nice. TARDIS looks very nicely presented. It's nice and sleek, so it doesn't take up too much space, and yeah, I really like it. Massive improvement over the packaging that we've had to suffer through for the past 4 years now. So without any further ado, guys, let's get this set open. Okay guys, so here's the set out of the box. So just to show you what the inside of the packaging looks like, you are greeted to this very nice star and sort of lighting effect, all in the blue. Now, as far as I know, all of the packaging is like this, so regardless of which era or type of figure you get, you're going to have this sort of blue and light shining inner packaging, which is really nice actually. I just think it gives it some more flair on the shelf and looks really cool. So just put that aside, and we're going to take a look. And we're going to take a look at the set itself. So starting off with the 6th Doctor. Now, this is a really strange variant. In fact, I can't even remember what this is supposed to be from, but it's definitely not your normal 6th Doctor, and I have to say, when this was announced, I just eye-rolled. I honestly just eye-rolled. I'm like, why can't we just get a standard 6th Doctor? Now, the biggest defense is that due to the low budget of the B&M sets, it would be impossible to recreate the 6th Doctor's coat as it was seen on screen, because there's far too many patterns and far too many details. So what character have chosen to do is go for a more simplified design. You still do have the striped trousers, but you only have brown shoes instead of the green and orange, I believe they're supposed to be, but you do still have this nice white trim around them. You've got the black stripes, which is really, really good. They're all really neat. You do also have some beige stripes, but they are quite difficult to see. You've got a nice waistcoat, and it's nice that they've gone to the extra length to paint the green chain. You've got all these different stripes and even yellow buttons, which is cool. You've got the traditional question mark collars there. You've got the blue cravat, which is really nice, and then his coat is gone for a completely different deco of purple, red, pink and blue. You also have these black areas with these white stripes. So, you know, it's funny that they say, oh, we need to tone down on the detail, but there actually is quite a lot of detail in this piece. You know, you've still got pink buttons. It's not as if they've cut corners with this design. You've got the black stripes in the red areas. These sort of lines all here, and everything has been painted really, really neatly, and it all looks very cool. So, as I say, it's a unique design. I mean, if you've already got Sixth Doctors like I do, if you've got the Season 22 and the Season 23, I suppose it's something nice to have on the shelf. One thing I will say about this figure is I love how his hair's been painted. I actually think this is the best they've ever painted his hair. I love how you've got that dark brown with the sort of blondish brown wash over the top to really highlight it. I just think it really accentuates the sculpt, and you can really see the hair. It just has a lot more detail, so really love that. Now, one thing everyone's talking about, and some of you may not have even noticed this is the first time that they haven't actually painted the Sixth Doctor's face. They have instead sculpted it in a flesh-coloured plastic. So it does, and I will say, it is much more noticeable when you actually have it in hand. It does give him more of an Auton look, if that makes sense. However, I will say, it actually looks better, I would say, than it does when his head is painted, because what you have is, because you don't have this layer of paint over the sculpt, it actually makes the details of the face sculpt stand out much more. So I personally don't mind this, but you can definitely feel the difference. I actually think the head even turns easier, and what's nice about it is, because there's no paint, you don't have to worry about it scratching off as you turn the head. So, you know, you can easily do a full 360 and not have to worry about scratching the paint off, although I still don't recommend that you do that. But same with the hands, and yeah, it really, I wouldn't say it's anything to complain about, really. I think the lips have been painted really well. I think the eyes have been painted really well for the most part. I think I've been quite lucky with mine, but I have seen some that don't look great at all. So yeah, overall, it still has all of your Sixth Doctor issues. I can barely get him to stand. That seems to be a common thing with all the Sixth Doctors, but overall, it's a nice variant. I wouldn't say it's my favourite, and I'm not particularly fond of the costume, but it's something different to have on the shelf. So what we'll do, we'll put him aside, and we'll bring in my opinion, the best thing about this set, which is the TARDIS. So, look at that. And this, to me, has to be the best 80s TARDIS that character have released, or at least this version, the more dark blue of the 80s TARDIS. Now, we've had 3 versions of this so far, including this. We've had the Caves of Androzani version that had that god-awful mud all over the base. We had the Visitation version, which is basically a completely clean version of this. And then we have this, which has got a lot more weathering to this box, which is really nice. You can see it's got that kind of white brushing all over it. It doesn't show up that much on camera, you can see it more on the roof, but in person it is quite noticeable. I think you've even got some browns on there as well, just to give it some depth in areas. As I say, you've got the really nicely done blue signage on there. You've got a very nice bronze handle and lock. You've got the blue sign that was used for the 80s TARDISes with that sort of wash over it just to make it look a bit dirty. This is the same on all the way around. You've got the 80s lantern, which looks really nice, and you have these sort of pink and white windows. Now, I'm not an expert on TARDISes. I honestly don't even pay that much attention, especially in Classic Who, you know, of how the prop evolves and how it changes, but this does look really nice. I think it just adds that little something extra to it than just having these standard playing windows. As you can see, these two windows are even textured, and when you have the wash over them, it really highlights that. So, very, very nice. Obviously, you do have the sound speakers and the battery compartment, which has all been glued on because this is non-electronic. But it's nice, you know, it really is nice, and to be honest, I don't think you're going to be facing the TARDIS this way, so I don't think it's going to cause that much problems. Standard with the doors, the right door, or the left door, this right, opens, and it stays open, it kind of locks in place, so if you want to, you can have the Doctor poking out of it, which is a really cool thing to do. And you have a little button there. It's really hard to see in this lighting there, which if you click that, it'll snap back into place, and it's held by the right door. If you want to open both, you can, but the other door is quite floppy because it's not really spring locked like this one, so you then have to click it back, but this door never really opened anyway. So inside, there's nothing inside, you know, standard for the classic TARDISes. And you snap that back and close it. So like I say, if you own another 80s TARDIS, you pretty much know what to expect with this in terms of its function, but it does have a really, really nice paint job, I have to say. So overall, what do I think of the TARDIS set? I really like it. In fact, I'm not going to lie, when it was announced, I just kind of went meh and wasn't really that bothered, but actually now I have it in hand, it's really nice. I'm not gonna lie, I think I might actually be parting with my Androzani TARDIS because I've never liked the mud that's on the base. I just think it kind of ruins it. And I do think this is a very, very nice 80s TARDIS. So I tend to just have one TARDIS per Doctor, except for the 3rd and 4th Doctors, because their eras are significantly larger. So for the 5th Doctor, on my display, I'll be having the Visitation TARDIS, and for the 6th Doctor, it'll be this TARDIS. So I'm really, really happy with it. What I've noticed with these sets is usually it either is you hate the TARDIS or love the Doctor, or you love the or you hate the Doctor and love the TARDIS. And yeah, I wouldn't say I hate the Doctor, but I wouldn't say I'm overly excited to have it either. It's just kind of okay. Does it justify the £25 price point? Well, that's entirely up to you, but I will say this is a very, very nice TARDIS, and I'd give the TARDIS a solid 8 out of 10. I'd give the Doctor the 5 out of 10. So overall, I'm going to give this set I'm going to give it a 7. You know, I think I'll be generous. I do think it's really nice. Whether or not it's worth it, that's entirely up to you, as I've said. Now, I do owe character a bit of an apology because someone leaked that this set was apparently £35. And that was proven not to be the case. It is £25. So I owe an apology for that. You know, I did kind of dig into them real good about that, but as I said, the set's £25, so whether or not it's worth it, I will leave entirely up to you guys. But overall, I just think it's an okay set. But as I said, the real gems are the History of the Daleks sets, which sadly I will not be able to review. So now we're going to move on to the little rant that I'm going to have at the end. It won't take long, but that's going to be about B&M's distribution. Now, we've actually looked at a website which helps you keep track of where the sets are appearing and where they're not. And, well, at least the last time I checked, none of the sets have appeared in my local area. In fact, the West Midlands doesn't seem to be getting them at all. Now, we've gotten the TARDIS sets, but I'd imagine they've long since flown off the shelves. History of the Dalek sets, never seen one. And my uncle's been driving all around looking for them. As I said at the start of the video, you know, I do have them, but this is the first time me and my friend have had to resort to other means to get them, and thank God those other means exist. And a big thank you to those wonderful fans who have been helping other fans like myself have the opportunity to get hold of these sets, because they haven't been appearing on shelves, and if they have been, they've been snatched up very, very quickly. So yeah, this is a big problem, and B&M, you really need to sort this out, because this is unfair. You know, this really is unfair. We are just not getting them, and it's becoming so difficult for us to go out and find them. Not only do we have to contend with scalpers and annoying people who hoard and like, oh, I've got to have 3 of them because, you know, I've got reasons, you know, just stupid. We now are not even getting them at all showing up on shelves. So you guys have really got to sort your stuff out, you know, because this is getting ridiculous. I don't know who to blame. I don't know whether to blame character or B&M, but someone has definitely got to sort something out, because this isn't the first time this has happened. You guys will remember when I made my previous B&M video on this channel, the most infamous video on my channel. I was very upset because it had been about a week and a half and I still hadn't been able to get hold of them because they weren't appearing at my local B&Ms. And luckily my uncle saved the day with that one, but only just, you know, because they'd been out for 2 weeks at that point, and, you know, chances of the hope of finding them was becoming ever slimmer. So, like I say, if you guys haven't been able to find them yet, I wish you the best of luck, but honestly, this is just getting ridiculous, and a lot of people are just straight up saying that they don't want to do this anymore because it's becoming so difficult that they just don't consider it worth it anymore, and I can't say I blame them, to be honest. So that's going to do it for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments below what you think. Please leave a like, share the video with friends, and subscribe. Stay safe and happy wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.